Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah, amma ba'd. Inshallah, we're going to do a review about the conditions of the salat. Because a lot of people, they mix them up with the pillars or with the requirements. So we would like to know the conditions of the salat. So how many conditions of the salat are there? How many? Can anybody give me a number? How many conditions of the salat?
9.
Yes, there are 9 conditions. طيب. Now, what is the difference between the pillar and the condition? The difference between the pillar and the condition.
Pillar must be performed in salah. Without pillar, salat will not be valid.
What about the condition?
Conditions we can.
Without the condition, would the salat be valid or invalid? Invalid. So when you look at the ruling, they're the same, except that the pillars are inside the prayer. The pillars are inside the salat. Conditions are outside the salat. That's the difference between them. Remember this. The conditions are outside the prayer, right? And the pillars are inside the prayer. So the conditions outside the prayer, the pillars are integral part of the prayer, right? For example, ruku' is an integral part of the prayer. Sujood and the like, these are all integral part. طيب. The conditions, they're outside. They have to be fulfilled before you enter the prayer. Now, what is the first one? Anybody knows the first condition of the salat? What is it? So we want to go according to the sequence. According to the sequence. So we go in order.
You have to have
Islam,
Islam.
ahsant. Yes, you are absolutely right. You have to be a Muslim. You have to be a Muslim. So in other words, if a non-Muslim prays, his salat will not be valid. If he gives zakat, his zakat will not be valid. His sadaqah will not be valid. His fast of the month of Ramadan, even if he fasted like Muslims, his fast will not be valid. Hajj will not be valid. Umrah will not be valid. Even dhikr that he makes, Allah will not accept from him unless he testified that there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah and that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is the messenger of Allah. So, Islam is number 1. Second,
You have to be sane.
Al-Aql, yes. Al-Aql. So in other words, Al-Majnoon, the insane person, he is not held accountable. He is not held accountable if he does not pray. Because he doesn't have his sanity. He doesn't have his sanity. So the insane person will not be held accountable. Because the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, رُفِعَ الْقَلَمُ عَنِ الْمَجْنُونَ حَتَّى يَعْقِلُ. Means the pen has been lifted. Means Allah will not hold him accountable. The pen has been lifted over al-majnoon, the insane person, until he becomes sane. So if someone was insane, let's say for 15 years, he was insane. And then all of a sudden he became sane. Then at the time when he became sane, right? And that's why they say لا تصحبن المجنون فإنه يريد أن ينفعك فيضرك. Subhanallah. They say do not accompany an insane person because he thinks he's going to benefit you while he's going to harm you. You understand? Because they don't have al-aql. And that shows you the importance of having al-aql, sanity, and perception. Because, for example, a kid who is autistic, right? Does he have perception or he doesn't have perception? He does not. And I've seen some of them. Because when I used to travel a lot and I used to treat people, one time there was this family in New York. It's years ago. I traveled to Queens, New York. They're actually from Guyana. From Guyana. Very good family, mashallah. And they had this child. He was only 5 years old back then. Subhanallah. I asked that brother and the sister, how do they sleep? Because this guy, he does not stop. You think these kids that we have in the masjid, they are active? He will put them to shame. He will wear them out. None of these kids will be able to compete with this guy. Subhanallah. La ilaha illallah. Non-stop. He's going back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. They have a station for him in the middle, right? They have all the food and the drinks. So he keeps he goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Then he drinks a little bit, takes a little bit, and then again. I told the brother, how do you sleep? He said, look, in the beginning, we could not sleep. Because this guy is active during the day and night. He goes on the wall, he writes on the wall, he's here, he's a monkey. Subhanallah al-Azim, la ilaha illallah. You should thank Allah you don't have one. You don't have those autistic children. These people, they suffer a lot. It's not easy. Right? طيب? So he said until the doctor prescribed medication for him, and the medication knocked him out, and he would go to sleep at night. He said, that's when we got the relief. Everyone is different. So these are the 9 conditions of the prayer. We ask Allah